Alright, you muddle fudgers. Our lovable cyborg cowboy who swears all the time is coming to Honkai Star Rail in less than 1 week. We just had the amazing Robin grace us with her presence, but today let's discuss everything about Boothill. And if he's going to be an absolute unit, you should consider going for. We'll discuss his character design, story, kit, and overall value in this video. Let's get into it. As a character, Boothill is definitely another one of my favorites. I mean, not only is he a cyborg, cowboy, galaxy ranger, he's also amazing voice acting and funny dialogue aside, throughout the story we get to play as Boothill a little bit. We don't ever get to do a battle, sadly, so go fork and play through the story if you haven't already. Speaking of the lore and story side of things, we know that Boothill has just arrived on Penacony and he's looking for an imposter to the Galaxy Rangers who should not be there. Don't forget that he also made a deal with Black Swan on that phone call back in 2.1. And even Boothill calls Black Swan a potential ally when he does arrive to Penacony. But our first encounter with Boothill is him totally not hijacking the Astral Express, much to Don Hung and Pom Pom's dismay. After the things are sorted out with these muddle fudgers on the Astral Express, Boothill as Pom Pom and Don Hung get onto Penacony and meet up with Black Swan. However, it seems that there's another character there that Boothill isn't too fond of. Spoiler alert for the next section, because we are going to talk about the end of the 2.2 story. After the Nameless and the Trailblazer get totally destroyed by Harmonious Choir the Great Septimus, Boothill is another one to awaken from the fake dream that Sunday has prepared. Together with the other characters like Black Swan who have awoken from the dream, they all concoct a plan to awaken everybody from the fake dream of the Order, and Boothill reveals that he has a purple flare that will alert the other Galaxy Rangers that danger is afoot. With this aid, Boothill's plan succeeds and everyone awakens from the dream. This also sets the stage for the Nameless and the Trailblazer to have their rematch versus Sunday. Not only that, you get to smoke him with the Astral Express. Great work, Pom Pom. Even though we had limited interaction with Boothill during this little patch of the story, I'm hoping we get even more of him in 2.3. Since, you know, he went over and threatened Aventurine in the IPC and stuff. He doesn't really like them. But that's enough story talk for now, and in a future video I'm going to discuss everything that happened in Penacony once we reach the total end. Now let's talk about Boothill's overall kit. In general, it's very in line with how the game meta is currently shifting, and what we can look out for in a lot of upcoming units. Namely, break effect. We already have our queen, Ron May, Harmony Trailblazer just released, so it seems like the game is definitely heading towards that break damage, break effect little combo there. Boothill's main focus of his kit is going to be that huge damage after he breaks or defeats an enemy, but we'll go into more detail right now. Boothill's basic attack is the same as always, it'll just do physical damage to the enemy. He also has an enhanced basic attack called Fanning the Hammer. Wait, where have I heard that before? Anyway, the skill is what unlocks Fanning the Hammer here, and it'll do a good amount of physical damage, just simply being a stronger version of his basic. Boothill's skill, Sizzling Tango, is a bit more interesting. The cyborg cowboy taunts and targets a singular enemy and enters a duel or standoff state. That's right.
It's high noon.
No more Cassidy jokes. This will make the enemy only target Boothill, and both the enemy and Boothill receive more damage to each other in this state. This will tie in with his talent, 5 peas in a pod. When Boothill breaks or defeats his enemy and wins his duel at high noon, he will get a very powerful stackable enhancement to deal massive damage to the enemy, and that will be the primary source of his damage in his kit. You can imagine what this will mean if you have the super break team like Harmony Trailblazer and Ron May on your side. Boothill's cinematic ultimate is called the Dust Devil Sunset Rodeo, and it'll apply physical weakness directly to whatever enemy for a certain amount of turns. In addition, this ultimate will deal a good amount of damage, and it'll delay the enemy's action. I really like the physical weakness portion of his ultimate, and it should open up some good team synergy once we know a little bit more. And lastly is Boothill's technique, 3x9 Smile. When he uses his skill for the first time in a battle, physical weakness will be added to the target. Sadly, we don't know any specific numbers yet or his traces and eidolons. Future Mogul here, that was a lie because Hoyoverse has released his traces. Ghost Load increases his crit rate and crit damage damage by a certain amount equal to his break effect with a max limit. This will most likely closely resemble Aventurine's, where if you go over 4,000 defense, you get more crit rate. Above, Snake simply says that while Boothill is in that dual standoff state, he will take less damage from enemies that are not afflicted with his duel. And Point Blank says that while in standoff and gaining Pocket Trick Shot, he regenerates energy. Pocket Trick Shot just being the stackable enhancement we discussed earlier. Overall, these traces seem pretty good and should definitely give him an edge and a little bit more value. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Even with this break effect and physical weakness, it still seems a little bit more niche compared to the last few characters we've got. He will deal a very good amount of damage since he is of the hunt, and he's a physical character. A lot of things are weak to physical in the game, so that does increase his value some. More than likely, we'll have to build him around attack and some crit, as we do most of our DPS, but how will he fare in the end game? Let's talk about Boothill in the sense of our current game's meta, namely Pure Fiction and Memory of Chaos. Due to the general nature of the multiple waves of multiple enemies in these modes, I do fear that Boothill's value might be diminished. This isn't to say that he's not going to work, and we have seen some hunt characters with success, like Sela. Obviously, this will be because of his single target damage, even though it's very strong. However, we may be getting some more hunt-focused gameplay very soon. In fact, the developers have already hinted at the next game mode, Apocalyptic Shadow. All that has been mentioned so far is that we are going to be fighting some strong bosses, perhaps even alluding to one in particular, with their stats greatly increased. This would be phenomenal for our hunt units, who are based on that high single target damage. Or at least I hope so for our Cyborg Cowboy's sake, because I love him so much. But with that comes some very sad news. Poor Boothill could not have released at a worse time. The character I wanted most from Penacony to be playable is Sam. And for that reason, I must stay strong and not pull for Boothill. And just like with Robin, don't try to convince me in the comments because I'll probably break and I want to save my gems for Samfly. I have to stay strong. I have to stay strong. Whew, okay. Jokes aside, Boothill is a very good character and can be used to evolve your account, even if you're like me and you want to wait for Sam. We're definitely going to see more of him in the upcoming 2.3 story and have more amazing moments like that pom-pom voice line. His kit is overall focused on that break effect and attack, as seen in that dual state and stackable token enhancement. But we'll definitely be able to discuss more about Boothill once we learn his values. But let me know what you think of Boothill and if you're going to pull for him in the comments below. I mean, what the fork are you waiting for? Alright. In the meantime, make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more Honkai Star Rail and Gacha videos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and may Lon the Hunt bless your pulls. Bye for now.